Welcome everyone. It is week 5 of my Master's Bikini Prep. I'm Amy. I am a nutritional therapy practitioner and I am also a Master's Bikini competitor. So if you hear rumbling in the background, it could be one of two things. I am cooking some rice in my rice cooker. So if it sounds like a little bubbling, that's what that is. And if it's big thunder, it's because it is yet again storming outside. I was really hoping to do an intro like on a walk or outside or someplace fun, and the weather has just not been cooperating. It was like 100 degrees yesterday, and today, I don't know, it's like 80 degrees and the storms are moving in. So I cannot believe that we are 5 weeks into this prep. The weeks, I keep saying it, but they are absolutely flying by, especially when I think about things in terms of like how many more, like leg days do I have before my show, or how many more meal preps do I have before my show. It really starts to make those weeks seem like they're really flying by. I also have some friends that are competing and they are a little bit ahead of me. So one of them actually is just starting peak week this week, or will be in peak week. It'll be show week when you're seeing this. And another one who is about 3 weeks out. So watching their journey and seeing how quickly, oh man, how quickly these last weeks really start to go. The time really speeds up as you get closer to your show. Couple of things this week. We'll talk about my check-in first. So here are my check-in photos here. I definitely feel like this past week has been really stagnant, and that's been something I shared with my coach. Nothing is going badly and I'm enjoying the new workouts. He sent over all new workouts last week. So I started those on Wednesday, worked out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And now I'm going through them for the second time. So I always feel a lot better going through workouts once I've gotten them done once. I walk to the gym in the morning, and on that 15-minute walk or so, I like to kind of go over in my head. I visualize the workouts, kind of know how to get from machine to machine if that's the case, or just kind of be able to plan it out mentally. So having new workouts, it is really that little bit of a learning curve, and just getting reoriented with how that workout is supposed to flow and how to execute it. So I've been feeling much better this week, getting my workouts, being able to increase the intensity, just feeling the comfort there more, especially as some of the moves have changed. One of the big changes is adding back in belt squats, which I actually love, but I haven't been doing them since I was off prep about 6 months ago. When I came off prep, we really switched up my workouts and took out the belt squats and added in some of those more compound movements, like I was saying, took out the back squat. So it's been really fun to kind of get reaccumulated or reacclimated with some of those other types of workouts, and also just different rep ranges and some other things. Definitely feeling the burn more. They are a little bit more pump focused workouts, which have been really good. Really, really enjoying them. So check-in photos you saw, it was a fine check-in, but I do feel like my weight is kind of just stagnant. I haven't had any movement really, which again is fine. My coach is good with that. However, for me personally, I'm feeling like I need to kind of put the pedal to the metal a little bit more and just kind of see some more progress. But following, I trust my coach. He's happy with how things are going. Doesn't see the need to change anything. We've changed nothing with cardio, nothing with steps, nothing with food. Everything is the same. So easy to execute because it's what I've been doing. So this week will be much like the rest. I did finally get my fabric samples from Angel Competition Bikini. They're really pretty. So I'll insert a clip of them here. There they are, and I have them in my hand. They also sent a bag of crystals, which I'll put the crystals up with the samples, but in my hand now I just have the fabric samples. Of course, right after they came, I had everything like set out and I was playing with the crystals, and then immediately like knocked them all over the place, so they like flew everywhere. So I picked mostly jewel tone colors. You've seen my show day suit from last season. It's a really pretty blue with kind of blue crystals, really beautiful, love the color. But I was kind of wanting just to see some additional colors, and a good way to look at them, obviously you're really tan on stage. However, it's still a good idea to get something that goes with your undertones, when you're not tan, because those are still kind of the undertones of your skin. Like you're still going to look like yourself, sort of, the Oompa Loompa version of yourself. So I got the hologram turquoise and the sorry, some of them are front and back, but the ones I wanted were on the front. The hologram electric green is really pretty. There's that one. And also, oh, I actually really love this hologram emerald. Ooh, she's pretty. And I'm a natural redhead. I also got the hologram Kelly, which is a little bit lighter. So if you look side by side at these, you see that this Kelly is a really bright green, and the crystals can definitely play a big role in how it comes off looking on stage. You know, even if you take a really dark one like this hologram green and put a really light crystal on it, it can come off looking a lot lighter. And again, with like a darker color, you know, like the Kelly, you could do some darker crystals and it's going to look overall darker. And that depends on how many crystals you have as well. So if you have a fully blinged suit and there's very little fabric showing through, you know, that's obviously going to change the appearance too, whereas, you know, the crystals are going to be more of the color than the suit. If you have a less crystalled suit, the color of the fabric is obviously going to shine through quite a bit more. And then this one is the hologram teal. So I have a bigger suit update that I'm going to save for the end and talk about in the outro, because I might also have some other exciting news to share at that point. But it's been really fun. Oh, and I also got, I don't know what I was thinking, and I don't remember picking this color. Maybe I did. I'm sure I did. I'm positive I did. However, when it came, I was like, oh, no. Hologram lilac. Nope. Purple can go really well with redheads, but I think it would have to be a much darker purple. This hologram purple, even with really dark stones, I think is just too pastel for me, for my skin tone. So I don't know what I was thinking when I picked that one. Maybe it looked different online, which is again why it's important to get the fabric samples. But the rest of them, I mean, they're all beautiful. I think all of the rest of these colors are beautiful, pretty similar, but they're colors that look good on stage. And that's really what you want. I mean, it's not always, you don't want to pick your favorite color that may or may not actually be a good color for stage. It might be that it's a great color for stage, but I would, if you're new to suit shopping, definitely get the advice of, you know, the suit designers are going to give you some good feedback, your posing coach, your coach, looking at what you see on stage and see what you like are going to be really good places to start as well. So that's been really fun. The other thing I teased in my last week video, if you didn't see my week 4 video, I did some really fun grab bag kind of items talking about some prep hacks. It's hard to say, some prep hacks. So if you didn't catch that, definitely go back and watch it. I'll try and link it here. So if you want to catch that, you can. But I did tease at the end of that video that I was going to be doing some pretty TMI kind of stuff talking about pelvic floor health. So that is a treatment that I've decided to have done called Votiva. So Votiva is an intravaginal radiofrequency, non-ablative radiofrequency treatment. Now, why have I decided to do this? I've talked so much in this prep series about working on my rib flare. However, something else that really, really bothered me at my last show of the season was just feeling like my lower abdomen was somewhat distended. Now, some of that could have been food volume and stress and inflammation and other things, but it is something that I feel like on a daily basis I dislike. And I've worked on that a lot with vacuums, but then I've also tried to kind of limit my use of vacuums because I think it may have been exacerbating my rib flare. So I started thinking more about just overall general pelvic health. And as we age, everything ages, right? Our entire body ages, our sexual organs age, everything ages. And I wanted to make sure that I was doing as much as I possibly could to kind of encourage my pelvic floor to be strong, because if it isn't, I feel like maybe you can kind of allow that lower abdomen to kind of drop. And you see that in, you know, aging populations, that things tend to, you know, prolapse or droop down. So I wanted to do something proactive that I could do, and I have access to a lot of fun things doing what I do for work, and Votiva is one of them. So Votiva is like I said, it is an intravaginal treatment, but it is very little downtime. There are a couple of days, and I'll go through that when I talk about the treatment in more detail in the next clip. There are some things to kind of consider pre and post. However, it can be easily integrated into pretty much anybody's life. You know, it's usually a series of just a few treatments for most women, just 2 to 3 treatments, unless you were trying to treat something really severe, like severe urinary incontinence or uterine prolapse or something like that was a much more involved issue. There are benefits aside from helping with just overall pelvic floor health. So the couple of things that this treatment does, it causes its heat. So it's using radio frequency to heat the tissues, which causes them to rejuvenate and to build collagen, to help with elastin. And what they saw in the actual medical studies of these devices, there are others that do similar things, was that if you treat that tissue as it heals, it builds up a little bit better kind of barrier. Those mucous membranes are healthier. It brings a lot of blood flow. So it can definitely help a lot with women who are having difficulty with painful intercourse, which is not why I'm using it. The reason I'm using it was because they also showed that it could help with the ability of those pelvic floor muscles to contract. It didn't help with the muscle tone at rest per se, but what they did see was it helped a lot with the max contraction. And so that's what I'm really going for. So, as women, we probably, and men too, should be doing Kegel exercises where it's kind of that contraction of the pelvic floor. You hold it and then you let it relax. So doing treatments like the Votiva and other treatments that kind of help with the toning of the health of the whole vaginal canal essentially are going to also help with those muscle contractions. So for me, that's why I'm doing it. I want to be able to make sure that my pelvic floor is very strong so that when I am bracing on stage, or I'm not pulling a vacuum on stage, but as I'm, working to kind of be very long from my ribs down to my pubic symphysis, but also want to be very flat. I feel like having a better ability to contract the muscles of my pelvic floor, to maintain it, to kind of hold that contraction, like exercising any other muscles in your body, that's the reason I'm choosing to do this. So I'm excited to do that. I'm going to try and get a couple. You can do them every 2 to 4 weeks. Get a couple in before my show and hopefully really help just build some strength and stability in my pelvic floor, just like I'm building strength in other parts of my body. If you have any questions about that, I am going to show a clip of the device and kind of go over the pre and post-op things, or pre and post procedure, and also some contraindications in the next clip. It is a pain-free procedure, but there are some things to consider, but I'm happy to talk about it in more detail if anybody does have any questions. I also had considered doing some duo treatments. Now, duo is a treatment that is a electroshock wave, so it's a low pulse electroshock wave therapy, which I know sounds terrifying. It is not shocking. It actually uses like an acoustic wave to create like the shock wave. What that does is cause the tissues to, again, like rejuvenate. It brings blood flow. That device is actually FDA approved to treat female orgasmic disorder, which again, I do not have. That's not the reason I'd be doing it. I'd really just be doing it for overall health of the area and to just bring blood flow and rejuvenate those tissues. Again, everything ages as we age. So these are things that to me are more about maintenance and preventative things than actually treating a condition. Why would I actually want to get to the point where I had that condition that needed to be treated if I could prevent it prior? I'm going to do everything I can that I have at my disposal. So if I do end up doing some duo treatments, I'll talk more about that when I do them. But for now, just starting with some Votiva, seeing if that kind of helps. I'm interested to see if I do feel like it makes a difference in kind of the poochy appearance of my lower abdomen that I dislike. So I think that's it for now. I have other fun stuff to talk about in my outro, and I'm super excited to bring you all for the ride on week 5 of my bikini prep. So this is super exciting. I just got my order from Redcon 1. As a note, I am not sponsored. I do have a link in the description box where you can get 20% off, but they did not send me these products. Well, I mean, they did, but I paid for them because I ordered them. And I'm super excited to show you what I got. It was just a quick kind of top up. I really just needed protein. So I got 2 of the fudge brownie. This is the MRE Light fudge brownie flavor. Got 2 of those. This is usually what I drink at night. I'm in my nighttime shake, and then in the morning I kind of mix it up a little bit. I actually have not tried this flavor before because it's always out of stock. It's the oatmeal chocolate chip. Super excited to try this flavor. And then another one of my my OG favorites, which is the blueberry cobbler. Love this one. So good. So probably do this one tomorrow morning pre-workout. The oatmeal chocolate chip, super excited. And I also got, because I got free shipping if I order just a little bit more, I got a container of BCAAs. This is the blue lemonade flavor. I don't do a ton of BCAAs, but I usually will do them in my post-workout water because I do cardio right after my weight training and I don't want to, lose my gains. So I'll just do like a little bit, not even a half a scoop. So because there are, these do contain some macros. So if you are having supplements like this, I would recommend putting them in your MyFitnessPal or your tracker just to keep track of them if you are competing. So there's my little protein top-up haul from Redcon 1. Delicious. All right, so I'm here at the office to have my Votiva treatment done. And I can't show you the treatment itself, but I'm at least going to walk you through kind of the basics of it and show you the machine and show you how it kind of works. It is an internal treatment, so it does go inside the vaginal canal. It is a handpiece that looks like this. So you see at the top, there's 3 kind of metal electrodes. So there is ultrasound gel applied to those so that they conduct the heat. And what this does is it uses non-ablative radio frequencies. So it's meaning it's not causing actual damage to the surface of the skin, like an ablative treatment that you might do on your face for like wrinkles or skin tightening. So what this is going to do is bipolar radio frequency is going to heat the tissue and getting it up to a treatment temperature of around 40 degrees. Now there is actual scientific data that shows that that is a treatment range where you produce collagen and allow those tissues to almost rejuvenate versus causing damage. If you get over 50 degrees centigrade, that's where you start to have tissue breakdown and can have tissue loss. So it is important that you're treated within a specific temperature range for the benefit and no damage. There are some contraindications to this procedure. It is a medical procedure, and there are some things that you need to take into account afterward. So after the treatment, you don't want to have any type of intercourse or any type of digital stimulation, anything entering your vagina for at least 2 days. You also want to avoid any super hot temperatures, even really hot showers. You don't want to do baths. So anything that's going to continue to heat that tissue, once you've kind of reached that heat during the treatment, you want the heat to be able to dissipate. So you don't want to do things that are going to continue to produce heat. So sauna, hot tub, even hot baths or super hot showers, if you're really sensitive, are going to be a no-go. If you have any type of active infection, active bladder infection, urinary tract infection, anything that's an infection in the area, you're going to want to avoid this treatment altogether. If you do have a history of herpes, your doctor will likely prescribe you prophylactic antiviral medication to take because this treatment does have heat associated with it. Heat can trigger those types of reactions in the bodies that could cause you to have a flare. If you're having a flare, obviously your doctor is not going to want to treat you during that time frame. So there are some things to consider prior to this treatment, but there are, in all the studies, it's really cool. They have actually never shown a bad outcome or a negative effect from this treatment. There's some really cool studies that they did on women after having children to help with some of the muscle contractions and things after pregnancy that can affect the way our pelvic floor functions. And that's, as you know from my intro, why I am choosing to do this treatment, is to help with overall pelvic floor health. It also can be used to treat urinary incontinence and also has shown some benefit for helping with chronic constipation. Because it does produce heat, the heat can penetrate through the walls of the vaginal canal and really help kind of heat the lower part of the rectum, and that can help with constipation. So super cool treatment. As long as you're a candidate for it, there are no downsides. There's no risk of anything. It's not getting hot enough to burn you. I mean, it can feel warm, but really very safe treatment. So I'm going to flip you around and show you what the box looks like, or the actual device itself. And then, like I said, you cannot come along on this journey with me. I will have to leave you there. So this is what it actually looks like. This is the Forma V treatment. You can see the energy is set to 40, which is the temperature range we want to get to. The cutoff is going to be 43. We don't want to go above that. The machine will it has a safety feature that will turn it off at that point. Pulse mode is on repeat, which just means it doesn't need to pulse. And then there's obviously nothing in the counter yet because that hasn't happened. Over here, we've got our current temperature. So it's always monitoring the temperature. Right now, 22.5 is where we're starting. And then it will show the actual treatment time. We're going to aim for a treatment time of around 15 to 20 minutes. And the total energy we'll just kind of keep track of as it goes to see what the treatment actually ends up being. Yeah, so sorry I can't take you along for the journey, but this is really the more interesting part of it. The treatment itself is not that interesting to watch. right, it is the end of week 5. And again, the weeks feel like they are flying by. This week wasn't one of the super interesting weeks on prep, but I did get to go through all of my new workouts for the second time, or for the first time and the second time, about half and half, and I'm really enjoying them. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from this week. You know, I feel, like I said in the beginning, that my progress this week has kind of flatlined or been very stagnant, and that is something that I've discussed with my coach, and I plan on discussing with him in next week's check-in as well. But, you know, that's sometimes the case. I do still have some time before my show, and that's what I've been kind of reminding myself, you know, that changes take time, but also they can happen kind of quickly. So making sure that I'm communicating how I'm feeling with my coach is what's most important to me right now. And then, you know, really taking his advice and leaning on his expertise. That's why I have a coach. I trust my coach. So, you know, I don't want to get too much in my own head. I kind of just, there were a couple of times this week when I sent him a little just update during the week. You know, this what, if I'm good, if you're good, he's good. So we're all good. So everybody's good. Did want to give a couple of updates on things that I talked about earlier in the video. So I had this in my grocery haul. This was the seasoning I kind of that I showed, and it's the hickory brown sugar Kinder seasoning. Oh my goodness, I have loved this so much. It's so good. So when I do what I've been doing for lunches, I've been doing the shrimp that I just cook up in the air fryer, and then mixing it with some cucumber and my rice, and then I do a little scoop of non-fat Greek yogurt, this seasoning, and just mix that all up. And oh my goodness, it's so good. So there's like a little bit of almost like a mapliness. Is that in the name? Hickory. Okay, it's hickory. So it's kind of smoky, but also kind of like slightly sweet. Now there is sugar on the ingredient list. Again, I'm using it as a very slight seasoning on the top. If you were using this in excess, you may want to track that. I mean, I think a serving, it says, is a 1/4 teaspoon, which is about 1 gram, but I kind of use it like I would like salt. And it's pretty powerful. Like, it's really strong. And it's just, the smokiness, something about the smokiness with the Greek yogurt and the shrimp has just been very, very good. Your taste buds get a little bit weird on prep sometimes, so I think it's delicious. Your mileage may vary, but I got this at Walmart, and it was like less than like $2. I feel like it was really inexpensive, and it's been really fun to just add some fun, basically calorie-free topping to my lunches. It's been super tasty. I've also tried it on eggs, liked it on eggs, but love it even more with cucumber and the shrimp. It's just been delicious. And I also have an update on the MRE oatmeal cookie, right? Oatmeal chocolate chip. Well, now I know why this is always sold out, because it is fantastic. Like, it literally tastes like an oatmeal cookie. Oh, I wish I'd gotten more than 1 tub. And there are little flecks of like little chocolatey pieces in it. I've done it in just a regular shaker cup, just with water pre-workout. Then I've also made it into like my regular post-workout shake with ice and some blueberries. And oh my goodness, love it. This flavor is so good. So I will definitely be getting more of this flavor the next time I order. It might be my new replacement for the chocolate that I do in the evening. I sometimes just really like the chocolate, but this has, like I said, those little chocolatey pieces, but it also has that yummy cookie flavor somehow. I highly recommend. And again, I'm not sponsored, but I do have a code that saves you 20% on the entire website. If you order, don't use it. It doesn't benefit me. I'm not sponsored. I just really love this protein powder and like to share the things I love. I don't gatekeep when I'm on any time in my life. I don't gatekeep. So I think that is it. Next week, let's talk a little bit about how my Votiva treatment went. So the Votiva treatment was fine. Definitely did feel a little different, maybe for a few hours after. Just, I think that heat, you kind of almost feel, even though it doesn't really feel warm while it's happening, you do kind of just feel that little bit of heat. I do feel perhaps like I'm maybe just a little bit more in tune with my pelvic floor. And that's really what I was going for. Like I said, I want to just be able to feel like I'm able to really hold in those lower abdominal muscles, and your pelvic floor is so key in that. Like, it's all connected. You know, it's kind of that pelvic basin of muscles that kind of holds everything up and in. So I do feel like that helped. We'll see how that goes. I don't expect it to be like magic, but it just, more for me, that ability to kind of be connected to my pelvic floor and really feel like I'm getting a good contraction there of those muscles and holding in my lower abdomen while also not flaring my ribs. It's a lot to think about all at once when I'm posing. So next week, I have a super big update on my prep and also on the suit front. So please stay tuned next week for those. And if you do have any questions, please let me know. I really appreciate it. I'd say this, but I genuinely mean it. I appreciate every single one of you who watches. If you make it to the end of my videos, I am even more impressed and amazed that you're interested in hearing what I'm saying and that hopefully it is helpful. I really do want to just spread my enthusiasm and passion for bodybuilding. So if you have any questions or just a comment, or like I said, if you're having a rough day from my last video when I was hit by the struggle bus, if you need some encouragement or some advice, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's been amazing to interact with those of you who have left comments and suggestions, and it's already helped me. Like, you have helped me as well. So I really do appreciate it. Spread positivity and light wherever you can in the world. And please come back next week to hear about my my big prep update and also about my suit. So love you all so much. Have an amazing week.